Alright guys, I'm Sarcastic here, Hyperloops, and we're going for game 2 of the finals at Nordics. So I have it on 1.5 times speed. And I went a little in the future just to see what happened with the battlefield, because I was curious. But what's going to end up happening is Klaus is going to pick his battlefield, and I think that is just like a huge mistake. Hold on a second, sorry, let's go back a little bit. He picks his own battlefield, which I think is a ginormous mistake. Starting with the 2 shields on Kylo and pretty much robbing Yoda and or Luke from those shields would be hugely relevant. He starts off with the Force speed again. I kind of hate the way he does that. I think if he wasn't going to be playing an upgrade here for damage, he needs to just roll out Kylo. The opponent has very few gray cards, and I find it really important for him to make sure that he's kind of just showing, he gives the opponent less of a chance to whiff off of that. In general, there's not a huge issue with the opponent playing the upgrade first, and then you can decide who to attack. But after he sees the Force push, he pretty much knows that when he... Yeah, see, this is a mistake here. He should have actually disrupted. The opponent took a resource, so he felt it was important. He needed to stop that. So, like, he rolled out to be able to Snoke that, but if instead he could have just done it off of, like, Force speed. If this resource, like, came back to bite him in the butt, it'd be hugely relevant that, like, he allowed that. And the other concern here is now if he actually has a 2-drop upgrade in hand, because he rolled out Snoke first, he lost the ability to go and use it. If instead he had just chose to disrupt that, he would have been able to Force speed into 2 2s, and then Snoke over. He would have got the extra damage that he whiffed on. So yeah, the opponent's tutoring out. I'm curious if a dagger is going to come out here. Yeah, so dagger comes out. He gives himself the whole redeploy, which is better than the Force push. And he got to use it twice for the round. I don't know. To me, that's hugely relevant, potentially big mistake here. Doubt on that die is not very good. I definitely think I would have doubted the dagger. It's only because the +3 would be a dead side, whereas the focus or the damage would have just been like it was 1 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, focus, resource. Like there's at least with the dagger, it would have been 2 damage, shield, resource, and there's 2 blanks essentially. Yeah, now he just stole the shield. Like Klaus is just fucking gumming this up, man. He left this first round just getting obliterated. So he intimidates to set up the kill here. So he hidden motives the dagger. I don't see a huge issue with the hidden motive there on the dagger. I think if he's not afraid of guard, he has to go in there for damage, because then the opponent only gets to resolve the dagger before dying, or he can grab the shields, and then you can answer the dagger. It's... So we're going to get a rise again here? That's the real question. So this is the spot where things become ginormous. If the opponent doesn't have a piece of removal, because he's threatening lethal on the Yoda, which would hit the dagger. He could he'd be able to Snoke kill off of it. But like, this is one of those silly situations. Like, what should have occurred here is it probably should have been focused on the speed special to go in unencumbered. But in theory, he still would have ran into the overconfidence. So I guess it doesn't matter either way. He should pass here. So the question you have to run into is, do you just resolve the 2 natural? But all the passes are not good. Now he has to claim here or die. There's just so much that went wrong. So overconfident of the both of them. The Kylo's guaranteed to live now, but he dirtles so damn much with that the Kylo thing. Like, I don't know what he's attempting here. So now he's gonna lose the whole Obi thing, the Obi hut. Like, what? There's that should have happened ages ago. I think Klaus got rattled after that last game. But yeah, from the get go, like, not having that battlefield and the way he's been resolving stuff and like playing cards is just there's a lot that could go wrong, and it seemingly has. If his opponent casts all in here, which he knows the opponent's running, his Kylo dies. What is he scheming? So I think he's probably gripping a Rise again, but never got any of the upgrades. Actually, need to go read Torment. Also. Yeah, Torment, because I think he has to take damage. I just don't if it's dealt or taken. Because his opponent definitely on the lookout for that Rise again. So he's gonna Rise again the dagger. It's actually greedier than he could ever know. Just because it might have made sense to Rise again the illusion. Yeah, Torment is dealt damage. So he would have been able to torment either way. If he had just spent the one, the opponent may not have even considered the rise. Why does he keep cracking speeds? Did I miss how the speed died? We gotta have a talk with this man. The opponent doesn't have 2 resources. What the hell are you keep trying to do there? Like, you just walk into removal. Force your opponent to cast their removal prior to you crack. Speed into focus, bro. What the hell are you doing? Oh, I hate you, Klaus. I hate you. So many bad things going on here. So the only thing good going here is that he gets to do the 4 to kill the Yoda and steal the shield from the Luke. Because the guy you hit doesn't have to be the one that's taking the damage. It's just before you resolve it. But the unfortunate thing here is that he can't. No, he could have killed Yoda with it. What are you doing? He's trying to not take the 1 dagger hit. My god, man. If you're going to do that, you take the resource with Snoke first. Like, the overall issue, like, theory with what he did, it's perfectly fine. The problem you run into here is, like, he kept trying to do that. He kept messing up speed shit. So that one's really good there for him. I would actually hit the Luke here. So the reason you hit the Luke here is because the Snoke power on the 2 would have killed the Yoda. By hitting the 2 on the Luke, he would have been able to threaten Snoke killing him as well. And, like, that would have been huge. I mean, like, the Snoke ability killing Luke. So then he has to decide who to activate. And he runs into a mind trick here. So, like, if he had put the 2 on Luke instead, he would be able to Snoke here for the 4 and kill the Yoda after having Luke at 6. Yeah, I don't like that one bit. I think you take the free action there and roll out Snoke. So, like, the whole time he was doing silly force speed shit, and then the one time he's supposed to, he, like, doesn't do it. I hate him for it. But he has a dagger. What's he doing? If his guy's gonna die, he gets to shift it to Snoke and then use it. He passes. Ah, man. There's just so much wrong with all of this. And he had a no mercy. He would have been able to no mercy kill the Luke. So if he had put the 2 on Luke, he could have no mercy killed the Luke there, I think. Then there's a doubt in his hand. There was so much that went wrong there. The other thing he would have been able to do is so if he put the 2 on Luke, he would actually be able to go force speed, focus the Snoke over to 2 indirect, and then no mercy to kill Luke. Assuming he has four blue cards in his hand with the no mercy. I think he does the no mercy thing here, maybe. My God, man. He has all these upgrades and a rise again. Uh, yeah. If the two from the Kylo just correctly went on Luke, he would have had killed both of them. Like, I guess his fear there was opposing removal would go and like stop that, but I think with speed and focus, you just go for it anyways. Especially the way that he decided to hit Luke there for the 4, like it just makes more relevant sense. He needs to pass here. Okay. He can claim and just bypass the shield. Or wait for the opponent to do damage. So like passing until the opponent does damage and then he just claims, takes the shield. Like in theory is fine. The It would make sense at the same time to not do it, because then that on the subsequent activation in the next round, the opponent would be able to take the shield. Since he's like full heal, he doesn't actually want the shield ever here. So he did correctly pass on it. The opponent could have stole the battlefield if he kept trying to play passing games. So he gets a cross guard out here. Opponent rolls out, gets 4 shields. So I think for me here, I probably pitched to reroll all 5. I want the 4-speed special to threaten the living shit out of him, because he only needs 3 damage to get the kill. So the opponent has to have like mitigation of some sort to essentially stop this. If he, let's say he grabs 3 shields, then you only need to hit for 5 with the dagger and the cross guard, because you get to steal the shield. So that would put the opponent in just a pretty much a death situation. He could go focus into 2 focus into show lethal, but that's just not going to work out. So he gets a dagger way of lighted. So his only pretty, yeah. I think on that one, the way the dagger went, I check for overconfidence, and I actually probably just go focus into 2 focus into the special and the Snoke 2 damage. Because then he takes the shields, and you hit him for 3 to put him at 10. Yeah, you definitely don't take the 2 damage there. You need to reroll first, because you're giving him essentially the extra shield via the 2 on the Luke. Just because if the 4-speed had cracked the special, he would have been able to get in there for a large enough damage. And now he's staring at the equivalent to a 6 or 4 shields plus 2 damage. Pretty sure the 2 shields goes here. Snoke had 2 damage, right? Okay, yeah. 2 damage is hiding on that bottom side. This thing playing. Alright, so the reroll on the Snoke there is hilarious. I don't know how he got away with that. That was a 1 in 6. You crazy bum. So the question here is, the opponent claim? Do they have an Ancient to try to go heal with? Because things are not in a great spot for him here. Alright, I want to see how Klaus loses this game. I guess in theory, there's 26 minutes left, so how the hell does this Luke tank this? I can see where the Luke kills him. So he needs to activate Snoke here and go get the kill. If he does anything besides activate Snoke... Oh, no, wait, sorry. The Luke is the one that has the ability up. So I think the Luke's going to activate and probably go kill Snoke. So an all-in here would actually kill Snoke. Because he would get a shield, did 2 damage, and then do the other 3, and Snoke would die. But are all the all-ins gone? Snoke whiffed. So what are they thinking about? Is he questioning whether to Ancient to try to heal? Because he has the Mind Trick right now. He could overwrite to Ancient to then go to bottom. If he Mind Tricks, Klaus has to pretty much put each of the upgrade damage dies with 1 Snoke die and then a speed. I guess in the pile with the cross guard. Yeah. Yeah, the speed should not be with the dagger. There we go. Klaus did essentially what I thought. So pitch to reroll. He needs to not do this off of speed. He needs to fucking stop that. Like, in theory, he had there were 2 sides total he could have hit there to kill off of the speed. So he had 30%. But if he just gets if he counts focus, the 2, or the special, and doesn't speed, then he's looking at what is it? A 6th plus the 50%. So like 57%, something like that. Yeah. And it's just like, you need to stop that, Klaus. Like, pretty much the hidden motive is going to be on the 2. The 1 should have stayed there. That 1 should have... I don't think it should have re-rolled. So now what happened is the opponent's going to claim to get the shield. and you're gonna die on his activation. So the reason you keep the one is because um, the two on the Snoke kills with the one if it stays. Um, so if you leave the one, you end up having the two and the both focus sides on Snoke to get the kill. If you reroll, you only have the two focus sides, the special, and then hitting two indirect and the one again. Um, so like you get 33% for the focus sides, and then another sixth for the special, so you're at 44%. And then there's I think it's 2.75% for hitting both the one and the two focus again. So you end up with like 47%. If instead you just roll the Snoke, you have 50%. Sure, it's only 3%, but like it matters. Um, but I think Klaus could have potentially had those games if he played a bit tighter. It's much harder for me to say like Martin had mistakes because the dilemma is like there's a bunch of different ways for him to play out most of those matches. Like Klaus's issues tend to seem to be more kind of upfront and availably like understood because of the action tempoing and the passing that he was doing. For Martin, for the most part, he was actually playing pretty proper. A lot of the decision making seemed on point. The questions would have been like, all right, is he Yoda chaining too far too early when he shouldn't be? Should he be looking to get all of the dice in the pool, then reroll, then special do stuff, or what? So it's a lot tougher there because like in theory, representing the additional resource, let's say let's say he goes to 4, plays the 3 drop, has like an overconfidence. It's very different from if he only grabbed 1, has no resources available, then rolls out, then fixes his die and grabs the resource because he's slow in action in case he needs to cast the overconfidence. So like it's kind of hard to gauge that one. That one's actually personal preference. Normally speaking, I prefer to keep the special available to fix a die to max, so that Yoda is representing the additional potential like 1 or 2 damage based on ancient or whatever's going on, or even threatening, let's say the Obi special, because then he can grab a shield, then do the Obi special and get the shield plus the 2 damage. So like I don't know, the differential is a little tough. I think realistically Klaus kind of threw a lot of his odds away just based on the decision making he was making for playing. Could have been a long day. The matchup's not that easy. I don't know if he would have had a ton of reps on it. I think starting on his battlefield was a pretty bad choice, just because he ended up being faster than Yoda Luke more often than not, because the number of different die sides and just kind of like the slower pacing. Plus, he always had speed available on Snoke, so I would definitely choose Calm Tower instead of Obi's Hut there. The health differential would be huge. Like, that health differential would have been the difference in the game. But that's life. Them's the breaks. But trying to think. Do your best to kind of like get your own understandings of like the different matchups and kind of think like a lot of this different stuff. Like in today's format, we're often looking at taking our battlefield because we don't want to play on like Weapons Factory Alpha, because opponents really get too much benefit from that one resource jumpstart. But when it comes to something like Calm Tower versus Obi's Hut, in a 2v2 matchup, and you have the speed in your hand, I think I take the opponent's battlefield, just because you can get out in front of them, make them never get the benefit from their field, and then you started with the 2 shields and they didn't get their 2 shields, and that really often times is the difference between victory and defeat. His guy dying early or rounds early based on that stuff, because Kylo stays alive for another round. Like, you're looking 2+ more damage, more snokable damage, yada yada. But I hope you guys learned anything from the match, and hopefully I wasn't too harsh on any of the decision making, and I kept talking long enough through it, because sometimes I don't know if I'm thinking like in my head or out loud, and it's kind of tough. But that thing got stopped. Awesome. But you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. Deuces.